Perhaps you've heard it said that the biggest battle for success happens between your ears. Do you know why this is? Because self-belief is the biggest limiter for anything that you ever try to do. You know, and this is the second choice in my 6 decisions, like the decision to believe in yourself. And it's so near and dear to me because it's something I struggled with incredibly my whole life. And so let me just give you a little insight here. You know, when you're a child, what do you think the word you hear the most often is? It's no, right? I mean, and you should hear no when you're a child, right? Because you don't know what the heck you're doing. And so you're going to be doing stuff you shouldn't be doing, like try to stick a fork in a light socket. So when you do that, you should hear no, because that could kill you. And so it's important to hear no, because it keeps you from doing things you shouldn't be doing. However, it's what happens to those no's as you get a little bit older, and they turn into things like, oh, you can't do that, or who do you think you are, right? Well, those are different kinds of no's. Those become limiters. And so then it moves on, and it doesn't just come from your family. And again, a lot of it's well-meaning, but then it moves into your friends, right? And you start to get a little bit older, and you get into your teen years, and you continuously hear around you, oh, be realistic, and don't be a dreamer, oh, and you'll never do that, or who do you think you are? And you hear all these messages that you're not good enough to do the thing that's in your heart to do, or to do the thing that you believe that you can do. And, you know, that's just part of the environmental conditioning that you get growing up. And, of course, you look around you in life, and it's pretty much negative, 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 negative. That's what's on the news. That's what's on television. It's negative, negative, negative. And so it's all this suppressive thinking and thoughts that are dropping down on you. And so you tend to grow into, in a way that is conducive to having limited self-belief and limited self-doubt. And I've known people in my life who just didn't seem to have that. And it always blew my mind because it was so deeply ingrained for me. But I think that I'm a little more normal in the regard that I think most people struggle with it, you know, because if you think about it, anybody can pretty much do anything that's within some level of physical limitation. The thing that keeps them from that is the belief that they can't do it, right? Because if you believed you could do something, you'd just do it. You wouldn't worry about it, right? You'd just do it. You'd endure whatever it took because you would know that you could. And, you know, again, it's very near and dear to me because not only was I very, very painfully shy growing up, but I had huge, huge limiting beliefs and low self-esteem. And as a result, I never believed I could do anything. I never believed I could succeed in anything. And so, of course, whenever something got difficult, that would be the signal that, well, this isn't going to work either, and I would quit. And so it would lead to the case where I would never get anywhere in anything of substance, because anything of value is going to have adversity, it's going to have challenges. So it is the belief that you can that carries you through those stages, which, by the way, are necessary and are learning stages in anything that you do. And so I'm just going to share with you one of the things that I did. There's multiple things I talk about in the 6 Decisions CD or when I do seminars. As a matter of fact, this portion of the seminar with me is typically going to take an hour because of the exercises that I'll have you do. But I'm just going to share with you what I did to overcome my limiting beliefs, because I know, looking right now into this camera to you who's watching this, there's nothing that you can't do if it's within your physical limitation. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you're 5 feet tall, you're probably not going to be the greatest high jumper in the world, right? But if it's within your physical realm and you have the mental capacity, you could do pretty much anything if you're willing to commit to doing it and you believe that you can. And if you want an example, just look around you. They're everywhere, everywhere. So if anyone else can do something, so can you. And so the thing that changed my life was reading. That was the beginning thing for me. And I started doing it in my late 20s. I started with 15 minutes a day, because I had to do something to grow myself. And so 15 minutes a day, I read things that were positive and that were growth-oriented. I now read 45 minutes a day, so I've expanded that over the years. And I started with the Bible. That's where I started. I'm not telling you that's where you should start. That's where I started, because every life lesson possible is in there. Every success lesson possible is in there. And so I started with that, and then I read, you know, every other kind of material I could get my hands on. I have books now that I read daily. Like Og Mandino, and I've read John Maxwell's books, and you name it. I read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books. And I continued to put good things into my mind every day. And slowly, I mean painfully slowly, over time, I began to build myself from a person who had accepted that I can't to become a person who always believed that I could. And that made such a massive difference in my life. Because once I accepted it, hey, you know what? I'm like just like anybody else. I've got my own set of gifts and skills and abilities and inclinations and experiences, and God has uniquely blessed me, just like He's uniquely blessed you. And God doesn't make mediocre. I mean, there's plenty of people getting mediocre results with the special uniqueness that they've been blessed with because they don't believe that they can do more. You can do whatever you want to do, but you have to be proactive in believing in yourself. You have to, because the world is not going to send you messages of how good you are. The world's going to try to tear you down. I'm sorry to say it, but it's reality. You know, you suggest to someone you know that you're going to do something that's out of the realm of what they believe is possible for themselves, and they're going to immediately tell you you're crazy, or you should be realistic, or that doesn't work. Who are they to say that to you? But it doesn't matter, because you know what? You might believe that if you don't believe in yourself. So take 15 minutes a day and invest in believing in yourself. It's one of the greatest things you can do for yourself and your future and your family.